Welcome to a deep dive into the DNA of the ultimate off-roader. Before the legendary MB became the face of World War II, there was the 1940 Willys Quad. This prototype was the response to the U.S. Army's desperate call for a light reconnaissance vehicle. Built in just 49 days, the Quad was Willys Overland's high-powered answer to a challenge that would change automotive history forever. While others focused on weight, Willys focused on power and durability, setting the stage for what we now know as the Jeep. Today, we peel back the layers of the 1940 Willys Quad and its immediate successor, the MA, exploring the engineering triumphs and the political battles that birthed a global icon.
In 1940, the U.S. Army invited 135 companies to bid on a 1/4-ton 4x4 reconnaissance car. Only 3 responded: Bantam, Ford, and Willys Overland. Bantam hit the deadline first, but Willys brought the muscle. The Quad was competing against the Bantam BRC-40 and the Ford Pygmy. Each manufacturer was given an order for 1,500 units for field testing. The Army liked Bantam's design, but loved Willys' engine. This period was a frantic race of engineering, where the Quad had to prove it could survive the rigors of combat while adhering to strict, almost impossible weight limitations set by the Quartermaster Corps.
What truly set the Willys Quad apart from its rivals was its heart, the Go Devil engine. Designed by Delmar Barney Roos, this 134.2 cubic inch L-head 4-cylinder engine was a powerhouse. While the Army's weight limit was incredibly low, Roos gambled that they would prioritize performance over a few extra pounds. The Go Devil produced 60 horsepower and 105 pound-feet of torque, significantly outperforming the engines in the Ford and Bantam prototypes. This engine didn't just move the vehicle, it gave the Jeep the ability to traverse terrain that would leave other vehicles stuck in the mud.
The Army initially demanded a weight of only 1,275 pounds. For Willys, this was a nightmare because the Go Devil engine was heavy. To try and meet the requirement, the Quad was stripped down to its bare essentials. However, it still weighed in at over 2,400 pounds in early configurations. Barney Roos eventually convinced the Army to raise the weight limit to 2,160 pounds. This allowed Willys to keep the powerful engine and strengthen the chassis. Every bolt and bracket on the Quad was scrutinized to shave off ounces, leading to the refined design of the subsequent MA model.
By 1941, the Quad evolved into the Willys MA, or Military Model A. This was the pre-standardization version that incorporated lessons learned from the Quad's testing. The MA featured a gear shift on the steering column, a design choice that was later moved back to the floor for the MB. It also had a unique radiator grille with vertical slats, and the headlights were mounted on the fenders. Only 1,553 units of the MA were ever produced, making it one of the rarest Jeeps in existence today. Most of these units were sent to Russia and Great Britain under the Lend-Lease Act.
The MA and Quad were distinct from the later MB in several visual ways. The MA had Willys embossed on the rear panel, and the tool indents were located on the left side of the body. The fuel tank was tucked under the driver's seat, a safety feature that became standard. Interestingly, the MA's dashboard was much simpler than later models, featuring a circular speedometer that would eventually become a hallmark of the Jeep brand. These early design choices were the blueprint for the universal 4x4 silhouette that would be copied by manufacturers around the globe for decades.
Because the Willys MA was a transitional model, most of the 1,553 units produced did not stay in the United States. Under the Lend-Lease Act, a vast majority were shipped to the Soviet Union and the United Kingdom. In the muddy fields of the Eastern Front, the MA's Go Devil engine proved its worth, outperforming German light vehicles. This international testing ground provided Willys with invaluable data. The feedback from soldiers in the field led directly to the final improvement seen in the Willys MB, which would eventually go into mass production by the hundreds of thousands.
By late 1941, the Army decided to standardize the design. They chose the Willys design as the primary platform, but incorporated features from Ford and Bantam. The Ford-designed flat-stamped grille and the wide hood were integrated into the Willys chassis. This merger of designs resulted in the Willys MB. The MA was the crucial stepping stone. It proved that the Willys chassis and engine were the most durable. When the MB entered production, it carried the Go Devil engine and the basic frame geometry established by the Quad and the MA.
Finding an original 1940 quad is nearly impossible. They were prototypes that were often destroyed during testing or lost to time. The MA, however, survives in incredibly small numbers. Out of the 1,553 produced, it is estimated that fewer than 30 exist today in various states of restoration. This makes the MA one of the most valuable military vehicles for collectors. A fully restored MA can command prices well into the six figures, as it represents the missing link between early automotive experiments and the mass-produced hero of World War II.
The 1940 Willys Quad and the 1941 MA are more than just old trucks. They are the foundation of the entire 4x4 industry. Every modern Jeep, from the Wrangler to the Gladiator, owes its existence to the Go Devil engine and the rugged chassis of the Quad. It was the vehicle that taught the world that go anywhere, do anything wasn't just a slogan, but a mechanical reality. As we look back at these ancestors, we see the grit and ingenuity of 1940s engineering that helped win a war and started a global passion for off-roading.